I would like to ask Mr. Geithner about the way that they have arranged to do the asset management for the new program that have been rolled out. You mentioned that there are 5 fund managers to manage the program with Treasury, and you set out the qualifications. Who will these 5 fund managers be?
We don't know yet. We have to see who applies and who makes
Is it possible Goldman Sachs could be one of them?
It is possible if they are qualified, we would consider
Were they
them
included in the one of the managers when Mr. Paulson first rolled out the asset management program before he pulled it back? Was Goldman Sachs one of those 5?
I don't know, but I'd be happy to go back and check.
I'll check it. Let me tell you why I asked that. You hear a lot about the dissatisfaction, about the bonuses, etc. But underneath all of this is a conversation about the linkages and the connections of the small group of Wall Street types that are making decisions. And I just want to ask you, because you may be able to clear some of this up, it is true that Goldman Sachs received money from A.I.G. Is that right?
That is true.
How much was that?
I don't know exactly, but I'd be happy to make sure.
Okay, we'll find out. And also, they received money from the TARP program, Goldman Sachs. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, and Goldman Sachs is where Mr. Paulson really spent some time of his career. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Your CEO that you hired to work with you is from Goldman Sachs also?
My CEO.
Well, whomever works for you. I don't want to get the nuances to the point where we misunderstand each other.
There are.
Do you have your chief of staff? Is your chief of staff from Goldman Sachs?
My chief of staff, who is a.
Just tell me. I don't have much time.
But Congresswoman, my chief of staff did spend some time.
He worked for Goldman Sachs.
Time working in the past for Goldman Sachs. That's correct.
Okay, that's all I want to know. Then I want to know was Goldman Sachs involved with the decision that was made that weekend before they came to the Congress to ask for money for this on the sale of Bear Stearns?
No.
Was anybody from Goldman Sachs involved in that discussion that weekend?
Well, let me go back on this. At the time when Bear Stearns was on the brink of default, and the Federal Reserve then acted to try to avoid default, there were a range of institutions that considered buying and assuming the obligations of Bear Stearns.
I really wish I had time for you to go into it, but Goldman Sachs was involved in some way in that decision based on whether or not they were considering the purchase themselves or they were advising about it. Is that correct?
No, not in the decision, and certainly
in some way.
Us. Certainly we're not advising us, no.
In some way they were involved.
Well, there were a whole range of institutions that Bear Stearns approached.
Were they also involved in the decision to not support Lehman Brothers?
No.
In no way?
No.
All right.
Those are decisions made by your government.
I am just asking the questions because the talk is underneath, which you may not know about, is that this small group of decision makers, at the center of it is Goldman Sachs, and that's what's causing a lot of the distrust because people are thinking or believing that Goldman Sachs, because of the connections, have had a lot to do with the decisions that are being made. Now, on the big fund, is there some reason why you only have to have 5 managers involved in this fund? With at least $500 million in private capital, this eliminates a lot of firms being involved. And we believe that Goldman Sachs will again be one of those who will be the beneficiary.
Well, as I said, we're going to run an open, competitive process so that the taxpayer of the United States enjoys the best type of expertise in managing these funds. And there's some obvious practical concerns why we can only have a limited number do it. But can I just come back to your basic premise, Congressman? Of course I'm aware of this concern. I think it's deeply unfair to the people who are part of these decisions to suggest that they were making judgments that, in their view, were not in the best interest of the American people. But I understand that concern. I understand that concern.